this is Staires with session number 9 of our management level of winning in the workplace. I hope that these videos have been helpful for you. I hope that you're getting more and more of an idea of the power and the stress of management. The whole idea here, just as I find as I'm traveling coast to coast, talking with managers across the country, what I find over and over and over is the main struggle is how do we get people to do what we're asking them to do? It can be so frustrating for managers. In this session particularly, we're going to be talking about how to manage the work. Now guys, here's the problem that I find over and over is that managers simply tell workers, hey, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. And then they get frustrated when their workers don't do it. And I want to tell you up front, I'm going to say this over and over as we go throughout this session, you guys. As a manager here, your workers do not think like you think. Okay, so let's go ahead and settle that issue. So for you to continue to get frustrated at your workers and saying, I don't understand. How come they don't get it? Is it that hard? Isn't it just common sense? Okay, just want you to know. No, it's not common sense. They do not think like you. Workers come in, and why do they come in, or what do they come in to do? They come in to work. They don't come in to manage. They don't come in to think. They come in to work. There's going to be several different times during this session that you're probably going to go, man, Clay, that sounds a little bit harsh. Okay. All right. Well, it's true. Okay. I've got a few little stats here, as you can see at the beginning of our notes here. First of all, according to the United States Chamber of Commerce, 75% of employees steal from their workplace, and most do it repeatedly. Here you go. Here's another fun one. In a study conducted by a recent, by the Chubb Group of insurance companies, executives of 60% of the companies surveyed said they expect their employees to steal money or equipment. Interesting. Okay, then here we have the Gallup poll. You've heard this one before. 70% of our employees right now are disengaged at work, and 24% of those employees are actively engaged. Actively engaged. I'm not even for sure what that means, okay? But something tells me that on the way to work, they are already thinking about how to get out of things. How can they get the day over? They are actively planning on not working for you. So, with this in mind, as we come to work, you guys, the workers need to be told specifically what to do. And if we don't tell them specifically what we want them to do every single day, then chances are very good they're not going to get things done the way that we need them to get done. Guys, I've done some work with American Airlines, and I mean, the amount of people, the org chart that they had is just crazy huge. And there's so much wasted money simply because the management level is just expecting the workers to do good work, and they don't. There's no organization, there's no accountability, there's nobody over other people to make sure that things get done on a daily basis. So we're going to talk today about how to manage the daily work. How do we set things up so that our employees know exactly what we expect out of them on any given day? And again, I'm not saying here that workers don't do good work, all right? But the issue is when, as managers, we have this idea that workers are coming to work thinking about what needs to be done. Not only thinking about what needs to be done, but thinking the way that we think about how things need to be done. And you guys, it's just not true. They're not. They're coming to work saying, hey, I need another paycheck. What are we going to do today? And if you don't give them specific instructions on what to do, then they will fill the time with other stuff. Projects that should maybe just take a day or two can easily take a week or two, simply because we are not holding them accountable. We're not being clear, we're not being constant, and we're not being consistent, as we'll talk about here in just a moment. Okay? So let's dive into this. Again, the idea is that we put together a system for you as a manager to help you manage the daily work. The key word here is accountability, making sure that every single employee is accountable to what we need them to do on a daily basis. Okay, so here we go. Let's dive into some stuff. Most often, managers blame the workforce when in reality, this is going to be a little painful, okay? Most often, what I find is that managers are blaming the workforce. They're saying, they just don't have a good work ethic. It's the millennials. They just can't do this. And just can't believe it's not like it used to be. And there's a lot of complaining and griping and lamenting about the workforce not being able to do the work that we once used to do. Well, you guys, I think in reality, it's the inability of the manager, the inability or the lack of skill that is creating the very problem that is making your life a living hell. Okay? So I want to give you a tool today to help you manage the work. You guys, this has set me free. Remember talking in our last session about how I'm a micromanager and how I think micromanagement is a good thing. In fact, I think it's a very important thing because of the way workers think. Remember? The way workers think, they come to work. They come to work. If you want it done right, do it yourself. That's the mindset of a worker. So the thing is that we have to be very careful to make sure that we give them specific instructions so that they can do the work that is most necessary, that is most beneficial to the company. So here we go. First of all, I love this phrase here. I love this. What gets measured gets done. Okay, circle that, highlight that. That's huge. What gets measured gets done. If you're struggling with employees right now that just aren't doing the things that you need them to do, chances are very good there is no measurement. There's, hey, I need you to go do that, but there's no specific in that. There's no number in that. There's no way to measure how much they need to do it, how soon they need to do it. It's just been this kind of blanket thing. All right, let's go do good work today. All right, which is good, but it's not enough to ensure that things are actually getting done. Everything gets measured. Okay, everything gets measured. Now again, this is going to go down to every detail. Everything gets measured. Is it going to take time for you to put together this system? Probably. Is it going to take time for you to get used to this system? Probably. Is it going to take time for other people to get used to this system? Definitely. But I tell you guys, everything needs to be measured. Every worker needs to have a number. Every worker needs to have maybe even like 3 or 4 numbers every single day that they are responsible for hitting. Everyone must have some measurable goal each day that they are looking to achieve. Every measurement, catch this, every single measurement must have a manager. Okay, read this again. Number 3, every measurement has a manager. And then number 4, every manager must have a person that they report to. You guys, it's all about accountability. If there is no way to measure, and if there is no system of accountability or accountability chart in place, which you may call the org chart, as we've talked about, there's no org chart of people being held accountable to people above them, then again, what we're doing is we're coming to work and we're just hoping that people are thinking the way that we're thinking about the company. I spend so much time with leaders or entrepreneurs of companies that they just get so frustrated with their workforce because these workers don't think like they think. And it's like, well, no duh. They are not entrepreneurs. They are not business owners. They are workers. Their scope of thinking is so much smaller. It doesn't make them wrong, doesn't make them bad, doesn't make them evil. It just makes them different. And because the entrepreneur is thinking that the workers should be able to think out here rather than not only here, not only there, but the workers are thinking there, they just get mad at them. They just get frustrated. And they go, I just can't believe it. And so what do entrepreneurs do? Well, if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. And so the entrepreneur steps in there to do everything. Man, how much time do you waste as a business owner? How much time do you waste as an entrepreneur? How much time do you waste as a manager and a leader of a department simply because you are doing the work of other people? Guys, I tell you, this will save time for you. Will save thousands of dollars for you in your company if you can simply learn how to manage the work on a daily basis. I promise you, as we get into this, you're going to start thinking, oh, well, Clay, that's a little too much. Clay, I think that's just getting a little too crazy. It was just, okay, you can think that way. And you can take this session and toss it out and not do it. But I tell you, if you don't do this session right here, if you don't put into place what we're talking about right here, everything else that's going on just won't come about. Because this session is all about how you as a manager are going to hold your workers accountable every single day. And then what you're going to do with that accountability. Love this stuff here. So here we go. Employees, just catch this once again. Employees will not do what you want them to do on their own. Highlight that, underline it. Your employees will not do what you want them to do on their own. Will they be busy? Oh yeah, they'll be busy. I'm not talking about being busy. I'm talking about being productive. I'm not talking about having a long list of things to do. I'm talking about being efficient. I'm talking about doing the most important things every single day that make your company money. But if we're not careful, we'll just look and see busy. We'll look and see activity as important. You guys, once again, this is something with workers. They want to be busy, and they will measure their day based on effort. Man, I worked really hard today. Whew, can't believe I was working so hard. I had so much going on today. And they will come and ask you for a raise simply because they have been busy and they've put forth a whole lot of effort. Now, I appreciate that. I think it's nice. It's good for my employees to be busy. It's good for them to put in effort. But you guys, as a manager, as a leader of a company, as an entrepreneur, I'm looking for production. I want to see results. And that is just a very different way of looking at your day. Workers will stay busy. They will look busy, all right? They will be active. They'll have a lot of activity going on. And they will put emphasis on effort. But for you and I as managers and leaders and entrepreneurs in our companies of departments and so on, we're looking for production. We're looking for results. We're looking for efficiency. So there is a separation. And if you come and talk about results and everything like that, the workers they're not going to get it on their own. You are going to have to help them step by step by step. Well, Clay, I just don't get it. I have some things of how you can do this. Okay, first of all, let's jump into this. First of all, 4 ways when you are communicating with your employees. We've talked about this, but when you communicate as a leader, we have to communicate 4 ways. First of all, it's got to come out of your mouth. You've got to say it. It's got to consistently come out of your mouth. You've got to talk. You've got to tell people. There are some leaders out there, some managers out there that just expect people to do things even though you haven't told them what to do. I've just hired you for that. You should know what to do. They don't. Guys, I had my very first teaching assignment here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I was a teacher at a large high school here in town. And I remember early on when I was talking with the principal that had hired me, I asked him, I was a science teacher, teaching biology and anatomy, and I asked him, I go, okay, so is there any kind of criteria or any kind of measurement or anything that you need me to meet as a teacher? And he looked at me and made total sense to me at the time. He goes, Clay, you're the man with the degree. We just expect you to do good teaching. And of course, when I first heard that, my personality at the time was, sweet, I get to do what I want to do, okay? But unfortunately, there was no measurement involved. They just expected me, because I had a degree, they expected me to be a good teacher. Man, I tell you, now, I was a good teacher, but I just found over 15 years of being a school teacher that not every teacher is a great teacher. And there's no accountability. There's no one overlooking other people to make sure that certain requirements and certain things are getting measured. So teachers teach. Some are good, some are not so good. And it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, but that's just how it is. So we have to say it. We have to have the words coming out of our mouth. Well, you didn't tell me. Yes, I did. Well, you should have known anyway. Guys, I've heard managers say that. I know I didn't tell you, but you should have known. They're workers. They don't know. You have to tell them what to do. Well, Clay, I want to hire people that already know. Okay, you can do that, but good luck finding those people, number one. And then if you do find the people that already know, you're going to have to pay them a ton, all right? You're going to have to pay them a lot of money because they do already know. They have the experience. You're going to have to pay for that. I'm talking about most of our workforce doesn't have the experience and doesn't know. And they don't think the way that we think. So we are going to have to give them specific instructions. First of all, we have to say it. Number two, you've got to write it. It's got to be written down. There has to be a way to read it so people can refer back to it. Guys, I've made the mistake myself of just kind of walking through the office. Hey, can you do this for me? Hey, I need that thing for me. And I'm telling people what to do. And in my head, I have kind of this running tally of things that are going on. But unfortunately, they look at me and go, sure, yeah, I can do it. But like 10 seconds later, they don't have any idea what I said. Nobody writes anything down. I don't write it down. They don't write it down. I just say, can you do it for me? Even I, do the, hey, you got a minute? And I just kind of tell people what to do during the midst of the day. And somehow at the end of the day, there's this expectation on me that everyone's going to do just what I told them to do. And what do you know? They don't. Okay? Once again, 70% of the workforce, 70% is disengaged. And so all of a sudden, just because I walk through the room and say, hey, can you do this? Are they going to do it? No, they're not. So we need to be very specific when we communicate. We have to say it. We have to write it. I love this one here. This is what everybody leaves out, okay? Right here, say it right. Did you hear what I told you to do? Yes. Did you understand what I was telling you to do? Yes. Then how come you didn't do it? Well, I thought I did, okay? Happens all the time. So what we need to do here, number 3, is we need to make sure that we show it. We show pictures. Here is the outcome that I'm looking for. Again, workers can do great work, but you have to be specific with what you want them to do. If you're vague, if you're not clear with your expectations, if you don't show pictures, it's very easy for them to understand the words that are coming out of your mouth and for them to read what you have told them to do and go, okay, yes, this makes sense. But if they have a different picture in their head of the outcome, then I promise you, they're going to do what is in their head, what the picture is. They're going to try to produce the picture that they have in their head. So you want to be sure to show them a picture. Now, after an employee has been with you for a while and they have done this picture and done this picture and done this picture and done this picture, do you have to keep doing it? Maybe not. Maybe finally they get the picture that you have. But I promise you, on down the road at some point, they will produce something that is different than what you wanted simply because I didn't give them a picture. So you'll have to remind yourself, that's right, you need to go back. This is the result that I'm looking for. Okay? So we have to show them a picture of what it's going to look like when we get the outcome. And then finally, number 4, right here, and this is really the hard one, I think. Well, I think they're all difficult, okay, on a daily basis because once again, as managers, we get pulled down into the work and we're just too busy. Clay, I don't have time. I don't have time to say it, write it, and show it. That's all really nice in theory, but I don't think it really works in the real practical world. You guys, I do this every single day. Every single day I do this with my employees. And I've got a system right here. I'm going to show you how you can do it as well. But then finally, we need to make sure that we model it. You guys, this is huge. If there's a system in place, you have to follow the system as well. If there are standards in place, you have to follow the standards as well. And if you're not careful, well, I'm a manager. I don't necessarily have to do those things because I'm a manager. Okay, you can do that, but when you don't do it, it will send a message to everybody else that they don't have to do it as well. So you have to model what you expect other people to follow. And I see this all the time where the people in front are modeling one emotion or one level of energy or one sense of understanding. And yet they expect their people that are following them to be at a completely different level. They're expecting other people, I'm really tired, I don't feel good today, so I'm just it's okay because I don't really feel good today. And then I expect everybody else in the company, everybody else in my department to be all excited and have energy to get things done. Even though I'm in my office feeling really and it was good, don't talk to me. And I can get away with it because I'm having a bad day. So I can be grumpy, I can be upset, I can be uptight. You guys just can't get away with that. Welcome to the responsibility of a leader. Remember talking about the price of promotion. The price of success is responsibility, it's accountability, it's organization. Okay? So if you don't want that accountability, if you don't want to have to be that person, if you don't want to have all of that weight on you, okay, that's fine. Get out of your management job, okay? Get out of your management job, let somebody else do it, because you're very possibly hurting more than you are helping.